Hello, welcome to my yoga channel. The other day somebody asked me how to get into yoga and I just went straight into the physical practice about going to classes and stuff, and the thing that I try and drum home to people all the time is that yoga is not about the ability to perform postures but how it positively changes your life and relationships. And yoga actually has its ashtanga, it means 8 limbs, 8 parts. So there's 8 parts to yoga, and this physical practice, this asana, is like the third part. So we always most of us go straight into this, at level 3, and we just miss these two really most important levels to it. So we have yama niyama asana, pranayama pratyahara, dharana dhyana, and then reach samadhi. Boom, we're connected to this cosmic consciousness of everything that is, will be, and ever will be in the future and is now. So everything, so this cosmic consciousness, this connection to God, the divine, of your best version of yourself. And that's what in yoga we're trying to achieve, is this like self-realization, to just, to be the best you can be, to unearth these hidden talents that we all have within us. It's said that we all have a superpower, and sometimes we might not uncover it till we're like in our 80s, or sometimes it becomes really evident when we're really young. We become like a professional sports player or something like that. But for other people, it might be when you're 80. I read this story about an 88-year-old guy, and I think for his birthday, he got like some canvases and some paints and started painting. 6 years later, boom, he's got he's got exhibitions all over the world. His paintings are selling for thousands and thousands of pounds. So it's just this talent that was always in him, but it didn't come out until a certain time. So keep searching, and that's what we're trying to uncover with yoga. That's what yoga's trying to get. It's trying to bring this prana through the body to just unleash consciousness. So yama and niyama, we're going to talk about. This video I'm going to talk about the yamas. So this is the stage 1. So before you've got on your mat, this is what you should be doing. You should be doing level 1 and level 2. You didn't start Mario and just go, level 3, unless you cheated and got on your brother's game or something, or somewhere where he saved it. But yeah, you don't want to be jumping on anyone's back. Do it thoroughly, or try to. But a lot of us in the West now, we go straight into this physical practice. So I'll apologise for my last video for Barry coming in right at the end. I was staying in an Airbnb in a place called Geelong, and I was like getting to the end of it, and I heard the gate going. I was like, oh no, Barry's coming. And he come past, and I turned the video off, and then I jumped on him. I was like, Barry, what are you doing? I'm doing a video for YouTube. Why? You can't just come in. It wasn't stipulated in our contract. You said on Airbnb that we can have this place to ourselves, and you won't be coming and going. I didn't really. I just had a little chat to him. You'll realise the more we go into these yamas that it's about subduing yourself, and it was quite funny that Barry come in, because he was quite oblivious to what was going on. But we had a lovely chat, and he took us into town and drove us all the way there. So thank you, Barry, for your kindness. So yeah, we've talked about yoga, what it means. It's this self-realization, this enlightenment, and now we're going to talk about the yamas. So the first yama is ahimsa, so non-violence. So don't beat up Barry when he comes into your video. But yeah, non-violence. So this is non-violent to any other sentient beings. So not being violent physically to other humans, getting in fights. But then most important, not being violent to any other animals. So in the modern world, this is having a vegan diet. In India, it's always been vegetarian, and you go to India and it's easy to eat vegetarian, but to eat vegan diet is quite difficult because there's so much milk and cheese and everything. So yeah, in the modern world, in the way that animals are farmed and abused, it's a vegan diet really, to make sure that no harm is coming to any other sentient beings, and other things like not wearing leather, not wearing any animal products, which was very difficult for me because I had lots of clothes that were, leather jackets, what are they called? Big sort of, what are they called? Like a big John Motson thing. Like a big coat. sheepskin. I'm going to cut that little bit. So I had a massive sheepskin jacket, and I was just like, I can't be wearing these things, like, because that's not what I want to be representing. Even though, you know, they were made years ago and they were all vintage stuff. So yeah, it was about eradicating that. And I remember it was something that dropped for me because I was vegan for a long time, and I had a pair of leather shoes, and but they were my friends, and he'd give them me, and I said, he said, are you wearing leather? Why are you wearing leather shoes? I was like, you gave them me, like, you know, so it's like, it's your energy. And he's like, so if I gave you a bacon sandwich, that'd make it all right. And I was like, yeah, you've got me. Yeah, you've got me. So yeah, so it's not bringing any harm to any other sentient beings. So that's the first Yamas. So that's the first thing on the yogic path, is to give up meat. So if you're getting taught by a yoga teacher who's not a vegetarian, not a vegan, then like, they're just teaching you a physical practice, really. Yeah, they might be teaching you other things like breath work, but how can you be a yoga teacher and be eating meat? It doesn't really make sense. It's like the first principle. I could say something really bad then, but I'm not. And then the second yama is satya, which is truthfulness. So being 100% truthful and transparent all the time. And this is really difficult. And yeah, you got to watch people's feelings and things with this, but just simple little white lies that we all tell that you kind of just got to eradicate. You know, I'll come to your party and not turn up, or I'll be here at this time and let somebody down, or just little white lies that we can tell from time to time. Like I grew up, just everybody lied all the time, so it was just something that I did, and then to stop it and pick myself up on it all the time is really difficult. But then after a while you go, well, actually, you know, you realise that you have told a lie. You go back to that person and say, look, I lied, that's not the truth. So it's a good practice to start picking yourself up. And then the next yama is asteya, which is non-stealing. And again, this is another one. So not stealing people's time, not stealing people's property. Not, you know, if somebody's give you the wrong change back, and you know, that's still stealing. If you're aware of it, you know, it's stealing. Go back to the person and say, you know, you've given me the wrong money. There you go. Have this amount back, which is really difficult, especially being Mancunian and be like from England. There's a lot of dishonesty, a lot of theft everywhere, and I've kind of noticed it coming to Australia. Like, there's so many more people leave the doors open over here. There's not this kind of constant fear of crime, of your car being broken into, of being stolen. Like people, my mates who work on building sites, they don't have to have like security people there all the time because things just get nicked. But in the UK, we kind of have this, you know, it's this, we're all security conscious because there's a lot of thieving. And I used to rob all the time from supermarkets, from big companies, just because I was like, well, I'm stealing from these big companies and they don't need the money. But then I just started to realise, when I started looking into it and investigating and trying to be more truthful, I was like, actually, I'm creating a lot of bad energy by being dishonest and by being a thief. And I kind of wanted to turn that around, creating bad karmas for yourself. So I stopped stealing from everyone. Like, I'd never stole from like an individual person, and my way of justifying it was, I've never stole from a person, I'm just stealing from these big corporations, these who just have shareholders and investors who never see, and it's the corporation that, you know, causes damage all over the world. And actually, no, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't have to buy from them and things like that. That's the way I can kind of be an activist against what they're doing. But if I'm going in there and stealing, I'm creating bad karma, and why should I be getting something for free and other people paying for it? So yeah, non-stealing is a difficult one as well. You know, not getting away with things on the train, not getting tickets that you aren't entitled to. You know, paying the full price for things that you should be paying the price for. Not taking, like, my dad takes little saw sachets from Weatherspoons and stuff, and he's like, but they're for free. And I'm like, yeah, if you're eating in the restaurant, they're not for you to go home and eat at home. But he can't get that into his head, so he's come a long way. He used to rob everything, so him just robbing from Weatherspoons is a step forward. But yeah, I can't get into his head that it's still stealing, but maybe one day we'll succeed. So this is the lineage that I'm coming from. So all this getting rid of the lying, the violence, and the stealing is difficult. So it's a big process, and then you get to brahmacharya, which is it's kind of translated as chastity. So the Brahmins in India, they were this priest caste, and they were celibate, the priests. So it's about being it's celibate in its truest sense, but now crossed over into the Western world. It's about kind of having respect for your sexual partners. It's basically translated to non-excess, so not doing anything too much, not drinking too much, not doing drugs too much, not exercising too much, not eating too much, everything, not being excessive, but especially when it comes to sex and sexual partners, not you're taking on this energy of people all the time, and if you don't know them really well and you don't respect each other and you don't know the boundaries and the limits of where you both stand, you're taking on a lot of energy. People can get attached, people can get hurt. So it's translated now into that, and this was a big one that I had to work a lot on, and actually went into a little period of chastity, of celibacy, just to try and get my head around it for a bit, because it wasn't how I was brought up. I was brought up in this football, sex mad, xenophobic, lager drinking, homophobic, racist kind of environment that I was kind of birthed into, and then to sort of eradicate that and get rid of all that is quite difficult. And then the last one of the yamas is aparigraha, and this is not being greedy, not taking too much. So not taking more than you need, being charitable, helping people out. But yeah, not having 10 homes and 9 of them are empty. Not having 5 cars when you only need 1. Or you could give 4 to other people, whatever. So aparigraha is non-greed. So all these yamas are things basically that you shouldn't be doing. You shouldn't be violent. You shouldn't be lying. You shouldn't be stealing. You shouldn't be having sex, but bad sex. And you shouldn't be greedy. So the things that you shouldn't do. So then people say to me, like, how do I get into yoga? Start with those, read them, try and implement them into your life. And then people say, well, how do I implement them into my life? Me personally, I did a 12-step program. 12-step program is like your AA, NA, CA, your what's it called? Alcoholics Anonymous, these addiction things. But you can do a 12-step program as a non-alcoholic, a non-addict, because it's a beautiful, beautiful cognitive process of getting rid of all your crap and assessing where you're bringing in bad energy. So if you're lying, if you're stealing, and then bad stuff's happening to me, yeah, of course it's going to happen to you because you're putting bad energy out there. So basically a 12-step program will kind of flush you out and is part of going through these steps, because you can read them and learn them, but if you're not like putting them into practice and someone's helping you get through them, then what's the point of them? You can read and learn anything, it's putting it into practice. So 12-step program, go and do a Vipassana meditation, dig deep into like where you're going wrong in life. And then another thing is like, which I'd advise people to do, is like a landmark forum. And again, that gets you to just step into your truth and your honesty, being upfront with yourself about the way you behave with other people, the way you talk to yourself. And it just means that you actually end up having no baggage. You have no kind of, people haven't got anything on you anymore. Like people had, before I did that 12-step program, people had stuff on me. I was lying to people, I was stealing from things, I was always dodging things, and had this little scam going here and this little scam going there. And then I was just like, stopped it, and it was just like this massive weight just fell off my shoulders. Like you kind of make these personal kind of inventories, and then you go and talk to people that you know, said, like, this is the truth, I've been lying to you about this, I'm sorry about the way I behaved. Might be 10 years ago, but it's just like to bring it up and pass it through and get rid of it, so you can just be lighter in your life. So 12-step program, landmark forum, Vipassana meditation, go and do a Buddhist retreat, go to a weekend Buddhist retreat. Like, the best thing I ever learned was at a Buddhist retreat in the Lake Districts. It's the Kadampa tradition of Buddhism, and it just changed my life, man. Like, my mum used to say, you're an angry little boy and now you're an angry young man. And I was just angry at everything. I was angry at all. He always chose anger. He always chose to be pissed off, and I'd let everybody know. The person that I was with would know. I'd been moaning about it for ages. And I went to this Buddhist weekend, and the person told me that nobody had ever made me angry in my whole life. And I was like, what? This guy's a dickhead. Yeah, loads of people made me angry. This person's made me angry. This person's... He was like, no, nobody's ever made you angry in your life. And I was like, what? And he was like, you've always chose anger in that situation. You could have chose anything you wanted. You could have chose to just be like, okay, whatever. And when that actually dropped, that it was always been my choice to be angry, my life just, everything fell off me. So before you get on your mat, learn the Yamas. Next video, we're going to do the Niyamas. If you've got any questions, hit me up in the comments box. And if you've got any advice on how to make these videos better and maybe less mental or more understandable, or if you need subtitles if you're American or something and you can't understand me words. I said to someone the other day, oh, that's pony. And he was like, what's that mean? I was like, it's pony. And I was like, what does that mean? It means it's like inferior. It's like shit. Like, you know, a pony next to a horse. It's a bit rubbish, isn't it? You know, it's like, yeah, just pony. So if you need any advice on interpretations of my words, let me know. I'm injured, so that's why I'm not doing any of the physical videos at the moment. I'm trying to get my hamstring back. I've pulled it like 6 weeks ago, and I just can't repair it. It's getting there. I've been practicing a little bit, but I don't feel comfortable enough doing a video and demonstrating everything yet. I'd love to teach a class, but we'll see what happens, because I'm missing being in that class environment and like vibing off everyone's energy, creating good energy, working through the chakras. Yeah, make sure your yoga teacher's good, make sure they're touching you, make sure they're adjusting you, make sure they're talking about this sort of stuff, make sure they're making your mind work and making you think a little bit differently about things, and make sure they're not eating meat. Because if they are, ask them. If they are, go to someone else who's not eating meat. They might be the best yoga teacher in the world in this physical practice, but they're eating meat. Come on. Like, so I've just found out Simon Cowell's going vegan. Biggest idiot in the world. You used to think maybe he is, but the guy's just gone vegan. He's changing. Don't get left behind. Don't be like, you know, these people in history who've like hanging on to these values. It is changing. People are going to be stop eating meat very soon globally. When it hits 50%, bosh, the rest of it's gone. So get on the vegan bandwagon. It's not a trend, it's not a fad, it's not a phase. Things are changing. Don't get left behind. It's better for you, it's healthier for you. You'll feel better, you'll feel great, you'll feel amazing, and you won't have all this bad karma from eating animals. Whether you feel like, well, I'm not slaughtering them, doesn't matter. You're still consuming it, and that bad energy that's causing cancers going into your body, that bad energy that's creating bad thoughts, bad feelings, bad emotions. You know, if you eat something that's like been going through pain and suffering when it's been dying, then if you go through pain and suffering yourself, can't really moan about it, can you? Anyway, I'm gonna get off my little vegan bandwagon, but yeah, don't get left behind on that. Lots of love, have a good day. Namaste. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva, Mahesvaha, Guru Sakshat, Param Brahma, Tasma Shri, Guru Ve Namaha, Loka Samasta Sukhinu Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May the thoughts, words, of actions of your own life in some way contribute towards that happiness and that freedom for all. Bye bye.